Thank you. Hi, everyone. Very good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Sanna, Bedi. I work with UNICEF Venture Funds and also manage our crypto operations at the Venture Fund. I'm not sure how many of you knew UNICEF had a venture fund in the first place, but I also mentioned we have a crypto fund. So let's get right to it. We work in a reality, and while we're here in a very beautiful town in Switzerland, we do work in a reality where 50% of the world is not connected to the internet. And we work for children who don't have access to that internet. We also have a situation where many of the digital solutions that we're talking about are not necessarily built taking into account their unique realities or their unique needs. And so that's what brings us to why we do what we do. At the UNICEF Venture Fund, we have a $35 million pool funding vehicle, which also holds some crypto. We have about 2,527 ETH and 8 Bitcoin in our prototype crypto fund. This fund's goal is really to test, identify, invest in, and scale frontier technology solutions. We challenge frontier tech to create just open innovation. By just, we're looking at as justice, open innovation, that's really our return on investment. So as UNICEF, we do not accept equity, but we invest in the open source solutions, open source IP of the solutions that are building with us. So at the Venture Fund, we sit very far away from what is regular core UNICEF programming, and that you can understand as, our health, nutrition, emergency, humanitarian support teams. We also have tried, tested solutions is what UNICEF usually scales and usually works with. So we sit on that far extreme upper right quadrant where we only invest in frontier technologies such as blockchain, drones, AI, data science, virtual and augmented reality. Now, the reason for that is we'll do a landscape analysis every 3 to 5 years to identify what is frontier. How do we define frontier, and how can we ensure that local problem solvers are building solutions for their own needs? So create local solutions for local problems and ensuring they have the right funding, the right technical assistance, and capacity to do so. So we invest in these early stage prototypes and provide them with technical assistance and funding so that they're able to become larger platforms. We invest in them as cohorts so they can lean on each other's open source IP and really scale. So at the seed stage, we provide about $100,000. We then have for companies that are able to generate promising results, if they are showcasing promising results, we then provide them with an additional $200,000 to $400,000. This can be to improve their product features, or it's really that missing middle to say, you might need to build more IP, you might need to build more, have more testing results to be able to actually be ready for a Series A or a Series B investment. So we have the funding, and then we have technical assistance. This technical assistance isn't like a regular acceleration program. We conduct a very extensive needs assessment to identify what are the 2 or 3 areas we can help a company in 1 year. And we then connect them with the right mentorship to be able to do so. Here's just also a mix of some of our partners and donors at the moment. To date, we've invested in 130 companies, 130 investments across 75 countries. When I say this, I'd also like to mention we've been around about 10 years. The crypto fund came much later in 2019. The venture fund was launched in 2014. We also have 43% of our portfolio is female-led founders. So all the pink dots on this map are actually female-led companies that we're investing in. So from a UNICEF SDG angle, you can of course see that a majority, or at least a high majority of our solutions are focused on education, followed by health. We then have work, we invest in remote learning, job matching, and then there's industry innovation infrastructure. I'll come to that in just a moment. So on our investment thesis, we usually take this as 2 approaches. The first being something that's directly related to UNICEF programs. So here's an example of Pixtream. It's a company based in Mexico. They've actually built a solution called SOVI, which is a cognitive learning solution to improve children's cognitive skills. It's powered by AI. Now, this company got investment from us many years ago. They were then contracted by a UNICEF country office operation saying, okay, this solution works. Let's give it more funding to build another game. They're now scaling their solution. They've signed a partnership with the government of Guatemala to scale their solution to 1 million children across the country. This is a programmatic investment. The second lens we take is that of the core infrastructure that I was mentioning. So core infrastructure is any solution that can be used for multiple purposes. We may be investing in it for one purpose, but we might scale it for multiple purposes across UNICEF. So here's an example, a blockchain relevance example. So Statwick from India has developed a supply chain platform to track vaccine delivery. So we invest in them specifically for vaccines, but the government of India is actually using the same solution to track rice bags from farmers to ration centers for distribution. Overall, the venture fund looks at its results in two ways. On the social side, we have companies have been able to reach 31.7 million beneficiaries. We also have had startups that we've invested in one country has gone on to scale to more than their original country of founding. So about 20 startups have gone on to scale to 36 additional countries. From UNICEF support, could be through our partners or could be directly through UNICEF's country office operations. On the financial side, 88% of our companies are still active. We do like to fail because it'll only promise us that we're doing well if we're failing enough as well. We need to take those risks and challenge tech and not invest in things that are already tried and tested. So we think 88 sometimes can be high. 80% of the portfolio is generating revenue. We've had 7 exits. And $27.7 million is raised in follow-on funding to date. Here's a quick snapshot of the exits. It's a good mix of blockchain solutions. Giraffe is on job matching. Viative is a learning, a VR solution for learning. Addix Labs was a impact investing tool to tokenize impact investing and like results. So it's a pretty broad mix. I'm happy to sort of dive into that later. So overall, what really makes us unique is the fact that we are working with local founders, local problem solvers. Our companies are creating successful open source business models that are generating results, financial and social. I mentioned the 43% female-led founders. We have a target to reach 50%, getting there slowly. We are the first and only mechanism in the UN to accept, hold, or disperse cryptocurrency. And finally, everything we invest in is exclusively open source. With that, some of the themes that we're looking to invest in at the moment, we launched a call on climate tech, which was in Jan. We will soon, actually end of this month, be launching a new call for applications on mental health, nutrition, and psychosocial well-being. Again, this is a cross-cutting sort of thematic call. It could be a blockchain solution or an AI solution working in this space. And later in the year, towards the end of the year, we're actually going to be investing in data security, privacy, and trust. With that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Shane to take you into the other side of our work as well.
It's like a tag team or a duet or something. Thank you. Okay, thanks very much, guys. So I actually work on the Frontier Tech team in the venture fund, so with Sanna, but on a kind of a separate side of the house. Just to talk a little bit about the crypto fund, seen as we are here at the Crypto Valley. Sanna mentioned the figures that we've raised already. For UNICEF, it was like there were several reasons why we wanted to do it. We wanted to take advantage of the efficiencies that the technology had, but we also wanted to learn for ourselves. So there's no point in us exploring new technologies to deploy supporting UNICEF programming around the world if we don't understand them better ourselves at a headquarters level. Understanding our digital future, and then like have a better understanding of how we can apply these technologies, in particular the cryptocurrencies in the crypto fund, to improve our programming, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well, and also to get access to untapped resources. So up to that point, no UN agency was able to accept cryptocurrencies. So that was the first. The results from the crypto fund to date, $3.6 million equivalent was dispersed through the crypto fund. We finished up, actually, I think the equivalent that we received was about $2.1 million, and at the end we've dispersed about 3.6. That's 2,419 ETH and 4.8 Bitcoin. And 41 projects were supported with the cryptocurrency. Speaking a little bit about some of the blockchain cohort companies that have graduated from our fund. So these are from all around the world. We have BX Smart Labs, I think, came from Mexico. So they developed a decentralized app for saving circles. So kind of a community-based way for people to sort of generate their own financial infrastructure, their own financial literacy. Treasure is an open source protocol to support rural planters around the world. And they have been very successful, I think, coming out of Iran originally. Excapit, wonderful company from Argentina, and they developed a wallet, but also an associated kind of financial literacy curriculum, I guess, that was included with the wallet, which has, again, proved to be very successful. Kotani Pay, an off-ramp from crypto, which did not really require internet connectivity, which was very important. I think they're an African company. And Leaf was mentioned as one of the companies from the cohort that was acquired. So some pretty successful financial inclusion blockchain companies. Rumsan has developed a blockchain-based cash and voucher assistance program. I'll talk a little bit about them here. So they have pretty much just finished a pilot with UNICEF Nepal, where UNICEF Nepal had a thesis that cash voucher assistance programming is very important, particularly in the humanitarian scenario where a shock has happened. In this case, flooding happens regularly in Nepal, and they have to react to that with a cash assistance program. Traditionally, this has taken a very long time to stand up, and UNICEF Nepal went with the thesis that by using technology, by using blockchain technology, they could close the gap in terms of standing something up to be able to transfer the funds to the people, and that's been quite successful. Quadratic funding was mentioned earlier on, so part of what we do within the ventures team and within the Frontier Tech team is we prototype, we get to play around a little bit. The project we did earlier this year was around DPGs. And we had some of our blockchain companies and also some of our AI portfolio companies enter into a quadratic funding round with Gitcoin. It was really successful. Very, very oversubscribed. We donated 50 ETH from our crypto fund, and you can see from the numbers there, over 15,000 individual donors and 67.5 ETH coming back. So that was really very successful. Something we're going to look at again, both in terms of the modality for our cohort companies for digital public goods, but also for innovative financing for what we're trying to do as well. Some of our kind of internal prototyping that we're looking to do as well, again, exploring innovative financing models, cryptocurrency-based rewards for contributions, bounties. Also, one of the biggest programmatic areas that we see that can benefit from some of our blockchain work and particularly some of the crypto work is cash transfer programming. So you noticed from the crypto fund, $3.2 million was transferred. None of you here will be surprised to hear that took a number of minutes to go end to end, and the fees associated with that, $250 perhaps. When you think about cash transfer programming, I think in 2021, UNICEF did $381 million worth of cash transfer programming. I have no idea what the fees were that were associated with that, but I can tell you they were probably pretty high. So there's certainly some value in exploring injecting crypto into that space. And I know that it has been done elsewhere, but it's something that can be very interesting for us to be able to scale up, building on the back of the crypto fund that we have as well. I think we've had a good day today, good day yesterday. You've gotten a lot from this conference. I have a little bit of an ask for you, if anyone wants to give back. Call to action, if you'll forgive me. We're looking for technical partnerships to help us build our pilots. We do kind of characterize ourselves, the ventures team, as being, and the Office of Innovation as being outward looking and forward looking. So we look out to private sector. We look out to developers, to people doing new and innovative things, and we like to see what's coming next. So very interested to work with other people. Of course, we have investment opportunities. You saw some of our startup firms, some of our investees have been acquired. That's also interesting. And you can also donate to the venture fund. You know, maybe you guys have got some Bitcoin or ETH lying around that you want to put to more work, and we'd be happy to try and help you with that as well. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. We do have 2 minutes. If Shane and Sanna, if any of you have any questions for the duo.
So when you invest in a project, you don't take equities when you invest in projects. Then what you want, if not equity, what do you take?
It's a good question. So interestingly, UNICEF is an equity-based organization. So look at equity in everything that we do, access. So UNICEF's mandate is to improve the outcome of children around the world. And it's done through an equity lens, an equity approach. So they should have access, equal access to good healthcare, good education, protection services, that sort of thing. How do we transpose equity in technology to children around the world? It's my belief that that explains our open source thesis. So we invest, our return on the investment in that technology company is that open sourcing of the project, which kind of takes away some of the barriers that might exist in other people accessing some of that software. I don't know if you want to add anything, Sanna. Does that answer?
Fantastic.